So good morning, all of you. We have a lot of questions from students. In JEE Main, what are the important topics that need to be prepared? Well, if we look at mathematics, which is a very crucial subject in JEE Main, and it's equally important for students to score, I would recommend the topics like quadratic equations and expressions, complex numbers, probability, vectors, matrices in algebra, circles, parabola, and coordinate geometry. In calculus, topics like functions, limits, continuity, differentiability, application of derivatives, and definite integral in integral calculus will be quite crucial. Students are advised to lay emphasis on problem solving, taking previous year's papers, and finding loopholes and taking help of the subject teachers to improve upon these topics. In physics, if I take into account, which is equally important to score, it's advised the student should have a thorough practice of questions from kinematics, gravitation, fluids, heat and thermodynamics, waves and sound, capacitors and electrostatics, magnetics, action, optics, and modern physics. In chemistry, which is quite scoring, and if required, students should also take help of the NCERT textbooks for inorganic chemistry, topics of inorganic chemistry. However, the following topics will be very crucial: coordination chemistry and chemical bonding in inorganic chemistry, electrochemistry, ionic and chemical equilibrium, mole concept in physical chemistry, and definitely a lot of topics in organic chemistry will be quite scoring, and students should do a good number of problems practice from reputed sources in these topics. Well, you must be aware that in JEE Main, questions are generally equally spread across the syllabi of 11th and 12th class CBSE syllabi. So students should avoid selective study and solve questions from almost all the topics. Now, which are the important textbooks? Generally, if you look at the important textbooks which are available, I will say in case of chemistry, NCERT of 11th and 12th class is very useful. Students should read this book thoroughly. However, there are other books also, like for example, Solomon's in like organic chemistry, and in case of inorganic, definitely NCERT is advisable. So physical chemistry from reputed sources, good. And in case of physics, H.C. Verma is a good and reputed book for JEE Main. Problems can also be taken up from books from D.C. Pandey. Definitely from reputed resources like FIITJEE test series will also be quite beneficial. In case of mathematics, students should study from textbooks of Tony, coordinate geometry, Holland Knight in case of algebra, and definitely for calculus, Meron, and some questions and test series of FIITJEEs will be recommended. For online tests, definitely mypad.in will be a useful tool to take a lot of questions for JEE Main online exam. So how do I prepare for JEE Main in the next 3 months with my? This is a very important question. So students are advised to divide this time aptly between your preparation for board exams as well as consolidating your preparation for JEE. But those who have been preparing for a long time now would have understood the important topics, as well as they would also understood their weak areas. Now, in the month of January, students should start revising the topics of JEE Main. And till mid-February, they must have taken a lot of mock tests as well on the patterns of JEE Main, current syllabus, you can say current topics and current pattern of JEE Main and JEE Advanced. Post 15th of February, they can start focusing on their board exams. However, the gaps between the board exams should be taken up for taking several mock tests. For example, let's say before your physics board exam paper, you would be revising for physics. So in that gap, when you're revising for physics, ensure to revise topics in full length till JEE Main, or completed till JEE Main syllabus. Also take some mock tests for physics. relevant to JEE Advanced, so that your focus is on physics when you are preparing for the physics board paper. Same way, when you're preparing for the chemistry board paper, so this ways you can utilize the gap between the board exams in preparing for both boards as well as for entrance exams. By the end of March, you would have when you have completed your board exams, ensure to have taken some mock tests in real-time situations, so that when you take the JEE Main exam on 8th of April, let's say you're writing the JEE Main in the offline mode, or you're writing the JEE Main in online on 15th and 16th of April, you should have situations and ensure to do the test analysis of these papers. Subject teachers and find some valuable tips how you can improve upon your weaker areas and how you do not commit the same kind of mistakes. So this ways you can utilize this time gap from January till April and ensure that your preparation for JEE is to the best of your ability and you ace the JEE Main, JEE Advanced exams. To do 180, how to score 180 in JEE, as this is my last chance. Oh, but this is a valuable, I'm going to share with you a very valuable tip. In JEE Main, there's a simple way of getting 180 marks out of 360. And this will be quite useful for students who have not done time management till date. Let's say you have a 3-hour paper and you have physics, chemistry, and mathematics, 30 questions from each of the 3 subjects. So do not consume their first 1 hour in one subject. This will be quite risky, as well as, not the right way. The best way is to divide your time into 40 minutes for the first section, 40 minutes for the second section, and 40 minutes for the third section. So you will devote 120 minutes, that is roughly 2 hours, in the first round. Take the paper in 2 rounds. So in the first round, you give 40 minutes to physics, 40 minutes to chemistry, 40 minutes to maths. Correctly out of 30 in the first 40 minutes in each subject. So you would have scored, you would have attempted correctly in 2 hours. So you would have scored 30 into 4, 120 marks in the first 2 hours. Now you in the remaining time left 1 hour, which is you must aptly divide. Now when you have taken the first round, which subject was easier, which was slightly difficult. In the second round, start from the easier subject first and target at least solving 5 questions correctly from each of the 3 subjects. If you find one subject easier, you can attempt even more. But minimum 5 questions correctly, you must target in the second round. So 5, 5, 5, 15 questions, 4 marks each, 60 marks. So you can score 60 marks in the second round, 120 you've already scored from the first round. So 180 marks you can score this way. If you have found some easier questions more, you can even score better. So there are chances of you for scoring around 200 plus marks out of 360 in JEE Main. So now that was the strategy for attempting scoring at least 180 marks out of 360 in JEE Main. Now I have another question. What different strategy I must take for JEE Main and JEE Advanced? Is the preparation same? Well, here I would like to correct. Some students feel preparing for JEE Advanced will be sufficient for JEE Main. It's not true. And to some extent, these 2 exams are slightly having a different kind of a situation. Let's say the JEE Main syllabi is almost similar to the CBSE syllabi. Even the questions of JEE Main are slightly of a easier level compared to the JEE Advanced paper. The JEE Advanced questions are slightly concept-oriented, designed to test the comprehensive and analytical ability of students. So here, it's important for students to of all the concepts, because here the questions in JEE Advanced are formed based on intermingling of concepts of various topics. So whereas in case of JEE Main, there are some direct questions of each of the topics. Students can clear JEE Main if they have done the CBSE syllabi quite well and they have scored really well in JEE in their board exams also. But this is not the case in case of JEE Advanced. In fact, in JEE Main, the questions are all of objective type, 4 options, single correct answer. The students can perform even well. They have to follow a single strategy over there. However, in case of JEE Advanced, there are a variety of types of questions like multiple choice, single correct, multiple choice, multi correct. There are questions of match the following which are having more than 1 match is correct. And then there are comprehensions based off a new concept, which maybe students are advised to read the new concept, which may be original concept. These are designed slightly tricky for the students to crack. And there are also questions which are subjective, converted to the objective format, having an integer type answer from 0 to 9. So here it's quite challenging for students to grasp the question quickly and answer the questions in case of JEE Advanced. Time management plays a very crucial role when taking the JEE Advanced paper. So developers are not having the same strategy, and you are advised to take some previous year's papers of JEE Main and JEE Advanced to get oriented to the kind of questions which are asked. So I have a question from Manas, who's asking me, how important is taking mock tests and how frequently should be taken? Well, Manas, I'll suggest that mock tests play a very crucial role in getting you tuned to the time format of the exams, and it will help you know your ability to crack questions, as well as help you find your weaker areas and improve upon them before taking the actual paper. So mock tests also help you know the level of questions and the pattern of questions which are asked in the original exam. And it should be planned in such a way that you are able to do the test analysis regularly. Merely taking mock tests and not knowing and not doing the test analysis may not help. So you're advised to take mock tests based on the time available with you, as well as doing the test analysis regularly. I have another question from Rahul, who wants to know what score he must get to ensure admission in top NITs. See, as I suggested, the strategy for JEE Main scoring 180 marks out of 360. Students who have scored more than 190 or touching 200 marks can rest assured that they will get to a top NIT in the right branch. So one must target to score more than 200 or more than 180 marks at least to get into a good NIT with a good branch. So Shakshi wants to know the same. So the same answer is there for Shakshi, what I've told to Rahul. Then I have another question. Asked that I am weak in physics. What should I do? Well, physics is more about concepts. And I believe if you have not prepared properly in physics, you must take help of your subject teachers first. They will give you the right kind of steps to improve your problem solving ability in physics. I've already shared with you the important topics in physics. Mechanics is quite useful because this chapter helps you improve upon other topics in physics also. So you must have had a thorough practice of all the topics in mechanics. Then heat and thermodynamics, electrostatics, electromagnetic induction. These topics are quite crucial to be prepared well. You can plan to score more in JEE Main by taking up topics of your CBSE syllabus as well. So I suggest Vikas to discuss with your subject teachers the right strategy for the various topics of JEE Main. I also have Sanjay, who's asking me which exam mode, online or offline, is good to take and why. Here, you must be aware that JEE Main is held in both the online and offline mode. Scheduled for 15th and 16th of April, and the offline is for 8th of April. Now, students who are having a good aptitude or good command over computers and quite comfortable taking the exam in the online mode should definitely appear for the online exam. With those who are hesitant or feeling that there could be some technical glitches in case of the online exam should prefer the offline exam. However, in terms of the questions, there is no difference as such, as already it has been organized for several years now by CBSE. So I suggest the students can take the online as well as offline as per their choice, depending upon their confidence level. But however, there's a word of caution over here. Before you're taking the online exam, ensure that you have had sufficient practice of the online papers and mock papers in the online mode. mypad.in is one of the websites who can offer you a lot of practice on the online test papers. However, you should have joined a test series in case you're planning to write the offline exam, so that you get a good grip of the kind of questions you have done, test analysis, and also checked your preparation for taking the offline exam. So whether you write the online or you write the offline, you should have taken several mock tests before taking the actual exam. Now, I also have, I think Sanjay, I've already answered Sanjay. So majorly, like it's the important topics which you should have covered, whether you're writing online or offline. Ensure you take up several mock tests, practice tests, and develop a good understanding and prepare, having a right strategy in case of the whichever mode of exam you're attempting. So I have another question from Pawan, who is asking me whether only the previous year's papers are enough for me. Well, Pawan, I would like to correct over here. The questions asked in the JEE Main may not be repetitive. Like for those which have been already asked in the previous years, is not always going to be true that they're going to be repeated again. So you're advised to prepare questions or to solve questions of similar levels from various sources and repeated sources, and get a good understanding. The previous year's papers only help you knowing the format of the paper, knowing the kind of questions asked from a particular topic, also to know whether you have understood that topic very well, fairly well or not. So previous year's papers only act as a guideline for you to attempt questions of JEE Main. However, you must take the fresh questions and you must ensure to solve even better mixed variety of questions from various reputed sources to develop a good understanding on every topic. Mock tests be taken topic wise, even the entire full length 11th class, 12th class. So in various patterns mock tests can be taken. So it's not only the previous year's papers that will help you, they just act as a guideline, and chances of getting fresh questions is equally important. I have another question that this is my last chance. Is self-study enough for JEE preparation? Ask Samiksha. Okay, Samiksha, if this is your last chance, self-study is fine. But looking at the competition, I would suggest that you get associated with a reputed resource which has a pool of good question bank, and also there's a testing platform for you to get acquainted with the kind of questions asked in the current exams. Here, self-study is good, but then testing yourself at a common platform vis-a-vis your peer group is equally important. You must have a platform where you can understand where you stand today and accordingly you can improve. So my advice to you is, in case you have not joined any kind of a coaching institution, you get associated to a crash course or you get associated to a test series. You have the all India test series of FIITJEE and even mypad.in websites. You can also join the crash course ICB programs, wherein you can at least know where you stand if you have prepared on your own, so that these kind of platforms will help you plug loopholes from our weaker areas and get you on the right track. So my suggestion for you is to join a crash course immediately in case you have not done. At least it's the last lap for you, and you should not lose this opportunity. So all the best, Samiksha. So I have one more. Dinesh is asking about the important topics in JEE Advanced and PCM. Well, in case of Advanced also, the important topics, see, looking at the previous years, if I talk about mathematics, yes, calculus is one of the most important topics. Chapters of calculus like functions, application of derivatives, definite integral. More than 50 to 60% questions from calculus have been asked in the JEE Advanced papers. In case of chemistry, a lot of questions from inorganic and topics of organic chemistry are going to be useful. Coordination numbers, chemical bonding in case of inorganic, I've already shared in case of chemistry. Topics from organic chemistry, and chapters like ionic and chemical equilibrium in case of physical chemistry are going to be very important. In case of physics, yes, electromagnetic induction, kinematics, ones. You may not revise topics of the 12 boards which have been a part of JEE Main. Definitely, they are not going to be asked in case of JEE Advanced. Your focus should be on not losing not losing marks by attempting the questions wrongly. Focus in case of JEE Advanced should be only getting the positive scores. Nilesh wants to know how can he prepare for JEE Advanced and JEE Main in just few days. Nilesh, nobody has prepared JEE Main and JEE Advanced in few days, but yes, you can revise in few days. So here, if you have been preparing for long, let's say if you have been preparing for last 1 or 2 years, then you can only revise both the exams in these last few years. I'm not sure whether you're writing the 12th board exam this year, but in case you're a dropper, then yes, these 2 months can be aptly used for revising topics of physics, chemistry, and mathematics. The important thing I would like to suggest you is take up adequate number of mock tests in real-time situations for both JEE Main and JEE Advanced. Ensure you have done a test analysis of both the papers of various JEE Main and JEE Advanced papers, and focus on the weaker areas. Have a right time management in practicing more questions of the areas where you're weak in. And one valuable advice will be don't start any fresh topic as of now. Well, in case if you're a dropout, you can still use this 1 or 2 months of time in studying a topic from a subject experts. But yes, in case you're writing the board exams now, this is not advisable for you to start any new topic. Whatever you have studied, consolidate your preparation. We'll say like this, last few days before the exam, you must have a right kind of time schedule. You must take each day like your exam day. For example, let's say you're writing the JEE Main in offline mode. And I'll talk about both the exams, JEE Main and offline mode. So you have the exam from 9 to 12 in the morning on Sunday. So you must develop a time strategy every day, at least a week before. You must practice and you must take the mock test during the same time of the actual exam day, so that you get used to that timing of 9 to 12 and like you are writing the exam. So you get used to this time schedule till the day of your exam. Similarly, in case of JEE Advanced, the month before, that is in the month of May, you must practice solving 2 papers, if not every day, at least alternate days, so that you get used to the time frame of sitting for 6 hours. And practice as much as possible JEE Advanced level questions. You can take up previous year's papers during that schedule, or reputed test series of like all India test series of FIITJEE to take up. You get geared up in that particular timing of writing JEE Advanced papers. So that's how you can develop the right stamina aptitude to take up the JEE Main and JEE Advanced papers. So, and yes, on the exam day, I'll like to add off here. On the exam day, wherever your test center is, at least try to reach there half an hour, 15 minutes before the exam starts. Get seated on your examination table, and once you're there, stay calm, feel confident. What are you nervous? Don't look around, just focus on the table. Let's look at the question paper as soon as it arrives. Mark your OMR correctly, looking at your hall ticket. Ensure to carry the right kind of stationery, whatever is mentioned on the hall ticket. And stay calm. I have prepared well, and I will do my best. Whatever is the level of paper, the paper is same for everyone. So I'll put in my best and ensure that I ace this particular exam. And the time management, whatever I've advised you till now, you can practice these kind of time management much before the actual exam and try to use the right strategy with the paper. If the paper is tough, it's tough for everyone. If the paper is easy, it's easy for everyone. So do not become overconfident if the paper looks easy for you. Ensure, because if you become overconfident, you tend to commit mistakes and lose a lot of marks. So here my advice for you is ensure to read the question paper instructions of the paper correctly, and then start attempting strategically with proper time management. And do not be in a hurry to attempt all the questions. In case you do not know a question after reading it once, you move to the next question. Attempt only the questions which you know of. Do not mark questions whose answer you're not sure of. So here you have to avoid negative marking and score positive score only. I have another Lavkesh asks me, how much time should I invest in revising important topics? Okay, Lavkesh, I'll suggest over here that during the last almost less than 70 to 80 days are left now for the JEE Main paper. How much time should I invest in revising important topics? See, when you're talking about important topics, the more time you invest, the better, more confidence you gain. Sure that your focus should be on preparing all the three subjects, physics, chemistry, and maths systematically. Here I'll advise not to stick to just one subject because your paper comprises of all the three subjects asked in same. If I talk about JEE Main, there are 30 questions from each of the three subjects. If I talk about JEE Advanced, the similar sections with same number of questions are there in every paper. So you have to devote time equally between the three subjects, physics, chemistry, and mathematics. So I'll give an example. Like, let's say, for example, on a particular day, you will ask me how much time I was invest. I'll say you divide your day into three portions. 9 to 12, you give it for physics. 2 to 5, you give it for chemistry. And 6 to 9, you can give it for mathematics. So likewise, you can divide your schedule roughly into three equal portions. Whatever time you have, divide in three equal portions. Let's say you have 3 hours, take a paper of 3 hours, having physics, chemistry, and math questions equally. So you must divide your time equally between the three subjects, whether you're preparing or whether you're taking a paper. So I have another question. If I start now, will I be able to crack JEE? Well, Lavkesh, if you are writing JEE in 2018, starting now would be focusing more on JEE Main. Chances are bright, and in case you have prepared systematically for CBSE, there are bright chances for you to clear JEE Main. However, in case you are not aware about the pattern of questions in JEE Advanced, it might be difficult for you, but I won't say their chances are nil. But yes, you can still qualify JEE Advanced by joining a crash course, taking up mock tests, and focusing on your weaker areas and improving on them. So yes, there are chances for JEE Main, surely, but I can't say that about JEE Advanced because JEE Advanced requires a thorough preparation. There are students who have been preparing for 2 to 3 years and 4 years. So when it's competition, you cannot ignore the time invested by these students. So they stand a fair chance to qualify for JEE Advanced. But yes, I can say there are chances bright for you for JEE Main. Well, for JEE Advanced, so I have another question. I do not remember things. So how important is to remember formulas? Well, formulas can help you solving a problem quickly, because once you get a direct question when you're solving a formula, chances are very bright for you to attempt that question and gain positive scores. So here, yes, formulas stand handy when you're attempting an objective paper. There are a lot of questions, direct application of formulas where you do not have to think much and you score easily. So yes, remembering formulas every day, brushing up formulas every day is equally important. It will help you enhance your scores. It will reduce your thinking time, definitely. So this adds a lot of advantage to students who are good at memorizing, and there are a lot of important topics which you can memorize and cut short your timing for that when attempting paper. So I have what is the ideal score to get into IITs asked India? Generally, the cutoffs of the JEE Advanced is generally 20 to 35% of the full marks. So an ideal score for you is to score more than 40 to 45%. So let's say it's around in case of JEE Advanced, if we talk about 366 marks last year, if you had scored 150 plus, you would have the chances for you to get into IITs was bright. So yes, you should at least score 40% of the full marks of the paper in case of JEE Advanced, and at least 50 to 60% of the full marks to get into the NITs in case of JEE Main. That's what is an ideal score. Minimum score, I'll say rather. What is the, so Rajat, I have Rajat with me who's asking me, I'm not sure I will be able to do well this time. Should I take a drop? Well, Rajat, these 3 months are quite crucial. Instead of deciding right now, I'll advise you to utilize these 3 months aptly for revision. And in fact, you can still pull up during these 3 months with taking mock tests, guidance of your subject teachers. In case you have not joined a crash course, you can join a crash course to become, manage your time well. So don't give up even at this last, because since you are willing to drop, dropping an idea will be good, but that's only after your JEE Main attempt is over. As number of attempts is limited, you should not forget this. So dropping should be only after you utilize your first attempt. So do not ignore the first attempt. Give your best for the first attempt. If advanced, at least do it for JEE Main, because this is slightly above your JEE, your CBSE level. Take the JEE Main with whatever time left. You can prepare for that. And once your attempt is exhausted, you can still take another chance for JEE Main, JEE Advanced next year, but that's only after your performance is over. So it's quite early for you right now, but I'll suggest you must take the first attempt. Anas again asks me, I am stressed out and unable to score well nowadays. What should I do? Anas, a lot of students develop a lot of anxiety, depression, peer pressure. This time must be utilized to consolidate your preparation. Avoid discussing too much with friends. Stay calm, meditate, and take a test. Do the thorough analysis of the test paper. Discuss with your subject teachers how to improve upon those weaker areas. And possibly you can go for a round in the evening, walk, play some, if you like listening to music, relax, go to sleep if you feel tired enough. But yes, you must try to stay calm as much as possible. These few months, or I'll say last 3 months of yours, is equally important to take care of your health. Develop good eating habits. Don't move around. Don't party hard this time, because these 3 months are quite crucial for your health, for your exams, for your performance, for your right rank, for the right score you have to achieve. So I'll suggest that you take care of your health, practice meditation, seek guidance from counselors if you're getting too much stressed, but avoid taking any kind of medicines, because these kind of medicines also have adverse effects on your stamina. So better is that you develop good fooding habits, have a sound sleep, and avoid too much discussion with friends. Stay focused on your goal. Take advice of your parents and teachers in case you get stressed. So I have another. It is more scoring and why? Well, in previous years, chemistry was more scoring, but lately chemistry has got quite tricky questions. Here, it's difficult to tell you which subject is going to be more scoring, because sometimes so happens that if I tell you chemistry is more scoring, you tend to get difficult questions in chemistry. So, well, I'll suggest that you read all the 3 subjects equally. You get easier questions from a particular subject, but then nothing can be said before that which subject is going to be more scoring. So your particular subject of interest may be for you, which may be difficult for somebody else. But here I'll suggest all the subjects should be given equal importance. Jitendra is asking me for some time management tips to crack JEE Main. Jitendra, I've already shared earlier. If it's a 3-hour exam, take the paper in 2 rounds. Do not give the first 1 hour completely to one subject. Give 40 minutes to each of the 3 subjects in the first round. Then after you have attempted minimum number of 10 questions, let's say from each subject, go for the next round. Avoid answering questions if you don't know. If you know, only then you put the right tick, because you have to avoid negative marking. And in the second round, after attempting the first round, you would have already known which subject is more scoring. So in second round, you begin with that subject and at least try to score minimum 5 questions correctly. And that's how you can score at least 180 marks out of 360, considering the marking scheme is +4 and -1. So you can attempt questions in 2 rounds without any negative scores, and solving at least 15 questions, 10 in the first round and 5 in the second round. So 15, 45 into 4, 180 marks out of 360. So that's how you can score 180 plus marks out of 360 in JEE Main by proper time management. Jitendra asked me some more management tips. I've already answered that. Nitesh is asking for which parameter should I interest. Generally, students tend to go for computer science as the most popular branch nowadays. But yes, maths and computing is also developed very well, and a lot of students are getting good opportunities in mathematics and computing as well. So yes, the branch of study can be selected by the popularity of the course and the job placements after completing your BTech. So that's for you to find out from the institution wherever you are seeking admission, what has been the placement opportunities after the students graduated from that particular college. Yes, so if you talk about the IITs, the placement opportunities no doubt are the best We talk about the NIDs, they are the second best. And for any other college you want to get into any kind of branch, do a lot of homework before getting admission to the right branch. See which companies have visited, what has been the placement opportunities for the students, and accordingly you can decide which branch to select from that particular college. You can also join the alumni associations of various IITs, various colleges, and connect with those students and find out whether they're studying in the right branch and what has been the placement opportunities for them. Yeah, another last question. So again, it's a similar way, like what should we do on the final exam day? Yes, be careful, reach the examination hall well in time, stay calm, read the questions, read the instructions carefully, attempt questions the way I've suggested in my previous questionnaires, and say to yourself, I've prepared well, stay calm, and put in your best shot. You're definitely going to ace the JEE. All the best to all students and aspirants of JEE 2018. Thank you so much.